Hello, beautiful muses, and welcome to CosmoMuse Tarot. This reading is going to be a message from Goddess, and we are going to pick the piles live. I just felt called to do that for some reason. So the card that I'm picking is going to actually be from the Herbal Astrology Oracle. Instead of picking a goddess, we'll do that once we're into the reading. I definitely make the distinction of like sky gods and earth goddesses. Like I feel like goddess energy is a lot more like earth worship. So I'm going to use this this herbal and plant medicine oracle deck to get sort of the subject matter that your goddess is going to want to talk to you about, and then whichever goddess you get, it will kind of be through her lens, talking about that subject matter. Or yeah, so let's pick the 4 piles, and then I'll also put some stones. Some people like to use stones to pick, and some people like to use the cards to pick. So we've got Horsetail, Cordyceps, so 2 cards I have not pulled in my use of the deck yet. It's a little bit of a new deck to me, but I've used it a fair amount. Cacao, and Mucuna. I think that's how it's said, but I'm not positive, so sorry if I've mispronounced that. Okay, so let's put some stones on these as well. We're gonna do Pyrite. Here, I'll put these down a little over the Horsetail. Snakeskin Agate over the Cordyceps. I think this is called Aragonite. Aragonite over Cacao. And this is some kind of Jasper, I believe. I don't know, the name has escaped me, but some kind of reddish Jasper. Yeah, so let me hold these up. We've got Pyrite and Horsetail. Snakeskin Agate with Cordyceps. Cacao and Aragonite. And Mucuna with this red jaspery stone. I'll have to, in the descriptions, I'll put the correct name for that. It's like on the tip of my tongue and it's just escaped me for some reason. Okay, so for those of you that like the breath work I do to help sort of get in touch with both your intuition and your higher self, as well as open up to spirit and guidance, we will do that now. If you have your own process for picking cards, you can just pause and do that. Timestamps are in the descriptions. Okay, so for those of you who want the breath work, place your feet firmly on the ground. Feel into that stability underneath you, that sense of being held, a certain security through that, and then take a deep breath into your body and into that sensation of, you know, your body holding you, the ground holding you, really breathing into an embodiment, wading into your body. Hold that, and then exhale. And now take a deep breath, and this time suck the air up, up, up into the space between your brows. Hold it there. Suck in a little more to add pressure. And then out loud, this time exhale. And that opens up your crown chakra. Okay, if you need time to do a few more of those breaths, you can pause here, or just need some time with the cards, you can pause, and when you're ready, jump down to the timestamps, and I will see pile 1 first. All right. Hello, pile 1. Welcome to your reading, A Message from Goddess. So you guys picked this Horsetail card, which has the keyword patience underneath it, and is associated with Saturn and Venus as well. So I'm going to read from the guidebook, sort of the, not the whole thing from the guidebooks, they're a little bit, they're not too long, but just for the sake of time, I am just going to read the section that is the guidance part about this card. There's like some history and associations given about the card, and then there's a guidance section, and that's what I'm going to read from. So it says, Horsetail teaches us the power that lies within patience and the endurance gained through the hidden blessings of challenges. There is something good in all seeming failures, and although that might not be clear in the moment, time will reveal it. Trust the process. Remember that stubbornness and willfulness are counterproductive to loosening knots. Instead, like the medicine of horse, ground to the earth's energy as you survive and adapt to changes and hardships on the journey. Horse medicine provides us heightened sensitivity and the purity of trust as essential tools to have while we endure challenge and hardship. So my sense here, you know, and thinking about both the association also of Saturn and Venus is kind of like this, yeah, it's like, you know, in reading the upright things here, it says endurance, steady focus, period of gestation, trust the process, heightened sensitivity. Okay, so, yeah, I think that maybe a lot, you know, for many of you at least, you may be coming off of some sort of, you know, something that maybe didn't work to the extent that you hoped, some sort of disappointment, and trying to figure out sort of what's next and trying to find that focus, that new goal. And for some of you, you may have already kind of found that, but it's like it's still a little abstract, it's still a little conceptual. There may be moments of like excitement and hope, but it's like you're yet to see any true sort of real world evidence or manifestation here. And this is just saying, like, keep that focus, keep that seed dream alive within you, like you are on the right track with something. You know, the wisdom of what you're coming off of has not gone to naught. It is the food for what is seeding, what is germinating, what is incubating within you. So keep that focus. It's, you know, got a lot more wisdom underneath it than what you have been coming from. And yeah, I get that message of like, you're on, you know, stay focused, keep trotting along the path, pun intended with the horse. And yeah, just like keep going, like it, whatever you are moving toward will have the beauty, it will have the stability and the timelessness and the mastery embedded in it, all from things you've learned, from things from the past that maybe haven't gone as you hoped or been as big as you hoped, or, you know, whatever that is. But it's like, it's all going into this new seed, this new hope, and this new dream, and it's being incubated with all of that wisdom, with all of that experience. And it's just, yeah, it's just like really so much so on the right track for you. It's really leading you in a good direction. So even though you don't see the evidence of it yet, it's just like Goddess coming through to say, trust the process, stick in there. And so the Goddess that wants to come through does not shock me. Anya, leap of faith. Take a risk and put your heart's true desire into action. And in some of the, this is a Celtic goddess. Some of the, a lot of the goddesses out there have a lot of different associations and ways people use them. But the way I've studied Anya is she has quite a fruitful summer energy. In the Celtic will, in the way that I've studied it, at least, she is associated with south, summer direction, adventure, just moving into like a ripening phase of life. So this gives me the insight here that like whatever you are focusing on and really working hard to bring into manifestation is going to be fruitful. And so Anya is like, take that leap of faith, keep going, trust the process. And this specific card says, basically what are some actions you can take? How can you believe this enough? Your goal, your focus, what you are dreaming of, hoping to move toward, whether it's a career goal, a goal in love, a goal, whatever that is for you. It can be all sorts of different things. And I'm sure it will be, depending on how many and who comes to this reading, it could have many different, this focus, this hope, this dream could have many different genres of what that is. But there is something here that like this is a very fruitful seed that you have planted and that you are focusing on, and like take action upon that. Trust it enough to sort of invest your time and energy and effort and whatever you can invest into this to do so, and just like really wanting to give you that hope to trust and take the leap and have faith. Okay, we are going to use a moon phase card to get sort of some more insight here as well about just a little extra context about maybe some kind of phase you need to understand, some kind of fertility you need to understand. And it says, ooh, you're very close to achieving your goal. And while I do get the sense that whatever this means, or whatever each of you are associating this focus or goal to, and that's up to you guys, whatever that connects to for you. I get the sense that this is meaning that I think your goal, this feels like a long-term thing, and since this feels like an incubation period, and it's saying that, confirming like, yeah, incubation is in process and it's a very fruitful seed and this is great. Achieving the goal, in the broadest sense of the term, I think is more of a long-term thing, but what I'm feeling more so is that what I've talked about, like seeing that evidence that something's going on here, or that traction, or that real tangible thing. I think that's the thing that is very close to happening for you guys. So this is like you're really close to crossing that threshold from incubation to seeing evidence and seeing traction and understanding tangibly how to walk this path and how to direct it and orient it and what it might more realistically mean for you, which is always an exciting moment to have things like that happen. So it could be like that moment that, you know, maybe this is about finding new love and you really feel like you're in that right place, in that good place, that you should be attracting that to you. And so this might be like that spark of meeting that right person is close, but to get to the point of, you know, maybe the end goal for you is like moving in together or getting married or like really settling down with someone. I think that's a little bit more of a long-term goal, but that moment, that spark of like this person, you know, that type of thing. Or maybe it's a career thing and you're really wanting to shift careers or start a career, and maybe it's, you know, getting that opportunity, that opening for that position that's just right for you. So it's like that foot in the door, but you still have to then establish yourself within it. And that's the long-term thing. But that initial path opening is sort of what this feels like. You're very close to achieving your goal. It's like you're very close to realizing that this is an achievable goal to me, and that this is real and something is about to happen to prove that to you and to open that path to you. Okay, we are going to use the Wild Unknown archetype deck to get a couple of cards to add a little bit of context here. I'm feeling this card under here. We've got the Village. Move all of these over. I laid this out before and I'm like, this isn't working how I thought. I forgot I put the Goddess. Well, let's put Goddess up top, that's the voice we're using. Okay, this makes more sense. I'm like, this wasn't laying out the way I remember. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we've got the Village. And the Shaman. Interesting. It's so fascinating. I almost feel like the hand on the shaman and the hand that's reaching for objects in the other worlds, reaching for certain things you've either left behind or that you're seeking for in the other world. And then the Village, it's like you're bringing something back. I feel like right now in this incubation time, it's like you're seeking that thing, that tangible thing or that lost thing, or, you know, like a lot of shamans will work with like soul retrieval or power retrieval. So it might be something intangible like that, or it could be something, because there's a lot of tangible things on here too. There may be some key that you don't quite know what it is, and you're like, you know, what's that thing I need? Is it a class? Is it a connection? Is it some kind of object? I don't know what that would be. For me, it feels a little bit like a more of like an intangible thing for the majority of you, but if it makes sense to you that there's like a tangible thing you're seeking for, you know, that's possible too. But I feel like you're sort of in a thin veil time, and I do feel like the incubation time is when you are kind of between worlds. And so I feel like you're in this thin veil area where you are really sensing and having a deeper sensitivity than typical, and sort of feeling certain things from other world from the other world. But I feel like I just feel like you're seeking something, and this about to achieve your goal, I feel like you're going to find whatever that, I'm going to switch places. It makes more sense to me that it's like you're reaching, you're seeking for something, some key, some missing thing, whether it's retrieving some power, retrieving something about soul, or something a little bit more tangible, information, a connection, you know, whatever that is. But it's like this to me is like, you know, Anya giving the message here that like, keep doing that, keep seeking. You're going to find that singular thing you need, whether tangible or not, to bring back down into your manifest life, into you know, your real world, that's going to open that opportunity to you. And I do get this sense, I think it's broad enough that it would make sense over most goals that we've talked about, that you're you know, trying to kind of persevere and focus on, that yeah, that there's some sort of deeper belonging that's going to be coming through in terms of what you are able to find through that other world seeking. Not only are you finding that key, whether intangible or tangible, but when you bring that back and something starts to feel more real to you, or like things are actually getting traction and manifesting, there's something I think that's going to click in, that's going to help you feel more a part of life, a more like a deeper sense of belonging for this moment in your life. Like you may feel a little dissociated from life right now, or from your community or certain people, or just generally feeling that. But I feel like whatever it is you find and bring back, it's not only like a key to this opening for you, and seeing that you're actually like whatever this goal is or focus is, that not only is that realistic for you now, but it's also there's some key you're bringing back that is, yeah, just like helping you to feel more a deeper embodiment into life, belonging, stability in life. Okay, we're going to do some tarot cards to get a little more context about this. And I keep just looking back at Anya and this hand, you know, she's reaching her hands out here. We've got a hand, this seems like she's maybe like on the other side of that veil, and she's going to hand, you know, like keep reaching. Anya has you. She's going to help guide you. She's going to put that thing into your hand that you need. So keep reaching. Like she's very much so present and actively, not only is she saying take action, but she's also actively involved here in helping guide you. And I feel like she's like, you know, even though you may not see physical evidence of me, keep reaching into that unknown, into that other world, that thin veil place. I'm going to help put that thing into your hand that you're reaching for, because I don't, you know, it's like I don't think you know exactly what it is, but she's going to help kind of, it's like all you need to do is have faith and reach and seek, and she will place that thing from the other world onto you, into your hand, whatever it is that you're needing to bring back. That's like some kind of key. If it resonates for you, and I don't think this is for everybody, but if it resonates for you that some sort of either soul retrieval or power retrieval is like what you're needing, rather than something more tangible or more practically, practical, something more practically centered, there are plenty of, if you go on YouTube and just seek like a shamanic soul retrieval journey or shamanic power retrieval journey, there are guided kind of like drum journeys that you can find online if you are already familiar with people that are shamanic practitioners. That's even more potent. You can go do something, like go get a session and do something in person. Like that could be really valuable for some of you. Okay, let's see the tarot cards. The Tower. Yeah, I do feel like whatever you're associating this reading to in terms of like something you have a focus on or a goal that you're really focused on, I really do think it's being born of something that has sort of fallen apart. And so you may be, that's where some of a lost feeling or a lack of trust or faith may be kind of sometimes bubbling on your surface. But I think what I'm feeling here is like, just looking at these bright yellow speckles, to me that's like the life of a new seed coming to the surface, born out of feeding off of what has fallen apart. And it's like it is rising, like that new life is rising out of what has fallen apart. So yeah, and even in this card, it is it's like these yellow things have moved from sort of chaos and like a spattering and bubbles to some sort of formation, some sort of order. And I actually love this because the Tower is associated with the planet Mars, which kind of comes in and bulldozes the old in order to make room for the new, in order to reconnect you with new passion, that spark of life, that life force. And then the Emperor is ruled by Aries, which is the sign ruled by Mars. So these two have a really close association. And the Emperor is the thing that comes in after the Tower has kind of torn down the old, and it gives order. So it's sort of like that chaos to order threshold. And so it is like another sign to me coming through that you're really so close to that cusp of seeing some evidence here of moving from that chaos, that incubation, that congealing of new inspiration to really having that clarity of insight of how to give order to something and how to start moving and finding direction and finding kind of assertive clarity and power of like what to do, where to go, how to bring order to this. And then Initiate of Gratitude. So talking about that spark about to ignite for you guys is like, you really are on this threshold moment. Like you're really close to it's interesting. At new moons, we may have these wishes and hopes and dreams, and we make intentions. But to me, it's not till the first quarter moon that we have that spark of like action and starting to see manifestation of something. And that's what it's feeling like to me. Like you've been in this new moon phase of like you've planted a new seed born out of something that's starting to dissolve. And it takes, it's there that phase between incubation and birth is like, it holds a lot of need for perseverance, it holds a lot of need for faith, and it holds a lot of need for, it brings a lot of fear because you really are dealing with kind of those invisible forces. And this again is just saying like you're so close to that new spark, that new, I just get this picture in my mind of like suddenly a door opening and you seeing, you know, something that you've imagined in a seed, just there, like a new landscape or a new something that's there, and it just wakes you up, like moving from a dream into sunrise and a new day, kind of that thing of like moving out of wish phase into like, oh, okay, it's go time. Let's move from this dreamy, nebulous place into, yeah, getting our move on, because this is, something's real now, something's in the waking life now, and it's giving me a sense of fire and motivation and activation. And then 8 of intuition. Yeah, again, this is just like confirming that there's something in, that you've had to walk away from in order for this new path to even have space in your life. And it's going to, like, right now you may still be in that mode of like disappointment, even though there's these new bubbles of inspiration and hopes being felt. It's like that in-between world of like, yeah, but I don't know that that's real yet. And so it's really hard. I'm already sort of walking away from certain things, but it feels hard. And this to me is saying that you're going to see that evidence of that new hope really soon, and it's going to make it really like so much lighter and so much easier to do that walking away that you're already kind of like tiptoeing away, but now you'll have that motivation and sense of ease and hope to really, you know, fully close the door on some old chapter and just fully be engrossed by the new. Okay, we're going to get just some confirmation cards on top of these. Judgment, yeah. Whatever's ended, it was, you know, there was nothing that could be done. It just wasn't meant for your path anymore. Whatever growth you had needed from that, you know, you've passed that threshold. You got what you needed from it. So, it's just, it wasn't meant for your growth anymore. Okay, and then we've got the Emperor with 3 of Wands, which is a beautiful, it's another Aries card. And this is like the ship coming in. It's just like another confirmation that like you are going to see evidence very soon and feel that direction and feel tangible hope for the future and tangible hope for what you're giving dedication and focus and faith toward. Then 4 of Cups. It's like a beautiful extra thing coming in of like, this is a really great time for you to take some downtime. A lot of time when we are in kind of incubation phase around something, the universe gives us more spaciousness. And a lot of times people don't know what to do with that, and they start spinning wheels, and that creates a little bit more chaos and complexity than is needed, when you could take the opportunity in that spaciousness to recharge and regenerate and like refill your cup. And I think this is saying that like the energy you're going to need when this thing kind of sparks to life, take that opportunity to rest right now. And then Father of Wands. And I can't help but notice the lightning going through this card. Here, I'll hold it up a little bit. You know, and snakes, especially cobras that you see a lot portrayed on film and whatnot. How quickly they strike, how quickly lightning strikes. And to me, this is saying that, like, whatever is coming through, when it happens, it's going to come so quickly that it is, even though you're hoping for it and you're putting focus here and trying to have faith and trying to take the leap and longing for it, it's like when it does actually come, it's going to come in such a way and with such force and quickness that it's still going to shock you. And that shock is going to just help you just step forward into your future so quickly. You're not even going to have time to think about looking back. You're going to have to move forward really, really quickly. Yeah, very interesting. Okay, the last card we are going to call another goddess in. This is the Kuan Yin Oracle. So we're specifically calling Kuan Yin in, but with a blessing and a specific message from her. You can't make this up, the threshold. I mean, that's what this whole reading's been about. You're on a threshold. Let's see what the book says. Again, in reading from the guidebook, I'm only going to be reading sort of like the message part. Let's see, 39. At the threshold you stand, before you lies a way of being that is beyond fear. It is a sacred passing through a karmic veil into a new life of empowerment, peace, spiritual service to humanity, and joy in your own soul. So I couldn't ask for a better ending message for you guys. It's just like triple extra confirmation coming through here that you are on a threshold moment. So, you know, Anya is with you. She is asking you to have faith. She's asking you to leap, and she is actively, as you do that, as you trust that, she is also actively helping to kind of put the right keys or the right messages or the right shamanic journeys that you need, bringing you the right elements you need to kind of move from that thin veil incubation place into stepping over a threshold and seeing this as something that is real and actually happening, actually opening to you. Okay, this is where I'm going to leave you guys. If this resonated, I always appreciate thumbs up. Always grateful for kind and thoughtful comments, and definitely subscribe if you are not yet. All right, see you. Hello, Pile 2. Welcome to your reading, which is a message from Goddess. So to start this reading, you guys picked this Cordyceps card from the Herbal Astrology Oracle, and the keyword here is revival. So I'm going to read from the guidebook just the message aspect of this card to help understand what the theme is that Goddess wants to talk to you about, wants to bring a message of hope and beauty about. Okay, so guidance. It's time to soar to new heights. Energy is available to manifest your greatest dreams. Passion is in alignment with knowledge. Energy is in alignment with matter. Like the great eagle, you are blessed with the connection to the divine. You have an innate ability to live in the realm of spirit, yet remain connected and balanced within the realms of earth. From the height of the clouds where the Great Spirit dwells, the great eagle mirrors your ability to observe with expansive awareness and achieve great sights beyond the mundane. Eagle and Cordyceps represents the courage to channel the higher mind, ether, the realm of illumination and higher consciousness. If you have been walking in the shadows, you are being asked to reconnect with the element of ether, the divine, and your higher mind. Heal your broken wings with love and seek a higher ground to observe the greatness of what you're made of. And this particular herb is associated with the planets Jupiter, Pluto, and Mars, which most of these herbs I think only have 2 planets, so that's also impressive that you've got 3 and very powerful planets in this, this concoction of planets feels very, very powerful to me. And I didn't do this in the first reading because I didn't feel called to, but I'm kind of curious to roll. I think maybe in the last reading I didn't feel called to do it because maybe there were a lot of different kinds of a diversity of people and things coming to that reading, and I think maybe this reading is bringing like maybe more specific messages and drawing very specific people that are following a same thread of energy or something. I'm feeling curious about what house and sign this might relate to for you guys. So your 9th house, which is Sagittarian type of sector of life, it's all about, it makes so much sense, the eagle thing with Sagittarius. It is about getting that higher perspective, how to expand life, how to broaden life, how to expand your perspective, how to challenge your comfort zones in order to do that expansion. And then Libra coming through here is an air sign. So again, the eagle makes a lot of sense of trying to maybe expand something, expand and find a new revival, a new perspective around. It could be around relationships, it could be around a sense of justice or fairness, or it could be around just sort of philosophies that bring new balance into your life. So we'll keep those in mind for sure. Just the kind of keywords here beyond revival is energy, renewal, soaring to new heights, opportunity, activation, resurrection. Beautiful. So yeah, it's like I do just get the sense of like new perspective kind of suddenly sinking in, like a new broadened way of seeing life is kind of rewiring and rebirthing in you. So that's gorgeous. Okay, let's see what goddess is bringing you this message, which might put also an even more specific lens onto this, depending on who comes through. So we've got Mary Magdalene, unconditional love. And she says, love yourself, others, and every situation, no matter what the outward appearance may be. This just feels like new perspectives of self-love, which then also manifests in loving others more easily and deeply. And her history too, she was kind of like a priestess within that Christian framework before Christianity really had a deep framework the way it does now. and she had a lot of, a lot of enemies, a lot of projections on her. But I feel like, yeah, to me, this is sort of like something coming through around like having a perspective or having certain truths or things you're wanting to preach, not necessarily in a religious way, but like certain perspectives that are really beautiful and born of like harmony and diplomacy and peace seeking, bridge building, that I think, and I don't know, like our time in this world right now could use a lot of bridge building and a lot of figuring out how to harmonize, especially out politically. And this doesn't have to be, for some of you, this may be, something you're able to share to kind of bring some bridges in that political framework, but it doesn't have to be. For some, it might be a little bit more personal and just really having a revival of feelings of compassion and love and things you want to say and express about that, that just brings more love around you as well. Yeah, okay, we are going to pick from this moon deck to get a little more context, see if there's something about like a phase and an energy here that can help us go a layer deeper. So, waxing crescent moon, have faith in your dreams. Yeah, I think that you're getting like some serious downloads, like you're very connected to spirit right now. And I think that Mary Magdalene goddess energy is saying you need to take it from that realm of idea and intellect and like ground it onto earth, like do something more tangible with it, really root it into your life and embody it somehow with action. So taking that perspective, I feel like there's a perspective really aligning within so many of you that, Mary Magdalene as a goddess energy, you don't have to be Christian to have a goddess energy kind of take the form of Mary Magdalene. To be courageous and bold enough to kind of speak your perspectives with love and compassion and not be so concerned with how others might be taking it, and trusting that the messages you have and the perspective you have are meant to reach audiences. And so you shouldn't be holding that back right now. You need to really embody that and take action with it. Yeah, really beautiful. Yeah, it's like have faith in yourself, have faith in that perspective that's coming through. And then with that eagle energy, that revival energy, it's like being courageous in speaking up and sharing your perspective. I think it's more important than you could even imagine right now what it is you need to share. And it's really gonna just like it's gonna expand your life in beautiful ways if you can get over any hurdles about how you may be perceived or scared of just having judgments and projections. Like I think that that's going to be part of it, but even bigger than that is the people you're going to reach and the impact you're going to make. And critics and naysayers and judgers be damned kind of thing. Like, who cares? This is so much bigger than that. And the good it does and the people it reaches and the heights it takes you to and helps you to see you're capable of are well worth that kind of sacrifice. Yeah, you're super connected to spiritual information right now, and it needs to be shared. Even this card has eyes on it, and it's like, trust your intuition, trust your higher knowing. You have inner knowing within you that is really starting to come to your surface, but you're also very open and connected to spiritual downloads coming through. It's like coming both from within with that lower eye and from above, from kind of, spiritual downloads and guides and whatnot. So trust your inner knowing and trust those downloads that seem to kind of come to you out of nowhere. And then the Temple. Wow, this is like such a very sacred message coming to you from Goddess. It's like there's whatever perspective that you're going to lift, that you have, that can lift you up, that can lift life up, that can lift others up and really build these bridges and harmonize worlds and cultures and whatever it is for you. It doesn't have to be so grand. It can be more personal if that resonates, but it can be grand. It's like you know how to do this in a way that feels sacred to others, that feels and again, not necessarily in a religious sense, but it feels holy, it feels sacred, it feels like really, really well formed kind of perspectives and philosophies that others and yourself can't help but treat as sacred. And so whatever perspective you have to share right now is really kind of not only bridge building, but helping people connect to, and you connect to, a much more sacred treatment of life, of self, of others, I just feel that sense of life in general, just this much more sacred, just like knowing how to help others understand how to treat each other and how to treat you and treat themselves as sacred. It's like really profound spiritual energy, you guys. I don't know who you guys are, but just I'm in awe to bring this message to you. I feel a little intimidated. Okay, we've got Courage. So we're going to do a few tarot cards to just get a little more context. So Courage, there is something you're having to step into your courage here. We've got Wheel of Fortune, the Empress. Look at all of these major arcana cards. This is a big reading. This is a big message. And then four of Courage and 5 of Courage. Okay. I actually, this tarot deck has very different ways of labeling things, and I actually thought this was the Strength card. And once this came out, I realized that it's, in traditional tarot, it's the Wands. But because I originally thought this was Strength, that's how I'm going to read it. Because that felt very correct to me. So there's messages coming through from this Mary Magdalene goddess archetype of like, you really need, you are going to have to step into your courage here. It is going to take a lot of courage to trust what it is your heart is wanting to share right now, because I think what you are wanting to share is coming from your heart. And I get this sense that if you try to hold it back or repress it because you're having a hard time connecting to that courage, it is going to explode out one way or another. So you might as well do that in a self-directed way rather than kind of letting it just bubble over. I am feeling somewhat of a, not quite like a warning or a caution, but just like this guidance of like, this will go much better for you if you find the courage and let your perspective or philosophy or whatever this is to you out with more self-direction, rather than in some sort of like reactive way. Yeah, and this is turning the wheels in your life, like what's interesting here is there's so much being felt about really needing to find the courage, and things have come out already about like maybe not everyone will understand you and you may be projected upon, but that's so minuscule in comparison to what positive effect you're going to have. But it's like, what's funny is that courage and maybe that thing that you may even be projecting, that like, I'm gonna have to be a warrior and fight a little bit about this, but like the paradox here is like, once you put this out and you really connect to your heart and you share whatever it is, that philosophy, that perspective that your heart is just filled with right now, the other side of this, even though there may be some modes of that kind of like other people not understanding or judging, but on the other side of this, it's like you find your absolute beauty. You find the fertility, the beauty, the gentleness, the like life will just be beautiful. It's not beyond that initial step going to feel sort of like fighting for your voice to be heard, or fighting for not being misunderstood, or whatever it is. It's like there may be like a tiny initial hump with that, but then you really settle into just life unfolding as so beautiful, because I think this huge energy that's coming through here, it's like the majority of those that receive what you have to say reflect back to you the beauty of that, which helps you integrate settling into the beauty you contain, which helps life unfold as just really fertile and beautiful. And it's like the wheel turning into just like settling into life as very beautiful and celebratory and colorful and vibrant and just flourishing. Yeah, it's flourishing energy. Okay, I want to get confirmation cards on top of each of these tarot. We've got the Mother of Potential. Yeah, whatever messages you have, they're also very gentle and vulnerable and nurturing, and potentially incredibly pragmatic too. Yeah, interesting. And then we've got the Eight of Pentacles, with the wheel on top of the wheel. So however, life shifts for you, however, like you move into a new chapter through this energy coming through, it's like you're really stepping into your purpose and your skill. And yeah, it's like you're really going to weave a whole new creation of life. Really gorgeous. And then Ace of Cups on the Empress. It's like, yeah, life is just like really, despite how it may feel to step into this and any fear being felt around that. I just see so much gentleness unfolding, so much flourishing, so much abundance, beauty, and just really feel, I just really feel you connecting into some deep purpose that helps you to really feel fulfillment and always generatively full because of that. And then 9 of Cups, wish fulfillment. Yeah, I don't know what else to say here. It's just like, I think stepping into this energy, stepping into your courage, you just find, life is just abundant, full, fulfilled, sacred, beautiful. And I just realized for some of you, this could even be, with that 9th house, this could be beyond like a philosophy or a perspective. This could also be something in publishing, something you're meant to write, that could be, spiritually centered, fictionally centered, scientifically centered, whatever that is to you. But I mean, I do feel it a little bit either story or spiritually centered with the energies going on here. I don't feel it as super sciencey, like hard sciencey at least. But whatever that is to you, whatever resonates with you. But it could, for some of you, also be something about publishing. Okay. Last card, we are going to call in another goddess, but a specific one. We're calling in Kuan Yin to give you a blessing and message from her kind of compassionate, her sort of like, very compassionate energy. Tai Chi rising. Okay, and I'm also going to read out of the book for this, but just the message kind of part. Your energy field is growing stronger, which we saw with the Cordyceps and the eagle, with more spiritual electricity pulsing through your being. Yeah, it does feel very spiritually oriented. Take time to nourish your nervous system as it adjusts, and be gentle with yourself as you adjust to increasing levels of spiritual potency, which gives a little bit more context here. So this does feel to me like this may be somewhat of a new experience for some of you. And so a certain sensitivity kind of unfolding in you, and that is something where you do have to really pay attention to your nervous system and some grounding, and giving yourself plenty of rejuvenation time and alone time. Let's see. Okay, so take time to nourish your nervous system as it adjusts, and be gentle with yourself as you adjust to increasing levels of spiritual potency, which gives more impact to your words, actions, and thoughts. I mean, really? That's crazy. I couldn't think of a better message to leave you guys with. Spiritual potency coming through, and your words and thoughts really having a strong resonance and needing to be shared. So there you go. All right. If this message resonated, I always appreciate those things, the thumbs up, kind and thoughtful comments, and certainly subscribe if you're not yet. All right. I'll see you in more readings. Hello, Pile 3. Welcome to your reading. We are channeling a message from Goddess for you. And you guys picked the Cacao card, and the keyword under yours is initiation. So I'm going to read from the guidebook for this, just the guidance part of it, which is, like a more succinct message rather than reading the whole thing. to get sort of the subject matter that Goddess wants to talk to you about, or what her message is about. So the guidance message here is Quetzal has flown into your cards today, which I think is this bird in sort of Mayan or Aztec. It might be both. That's a figure. I don't remember exactly what it symbolizes, but that's where it comes from anyway. Quetzal has flown into your cards today, symbolizing initiation. The sky gods are speaking and bathing your soul in liquid light as you traverse a series of spiritual tests. The Quetzal is considered one of the highest divine aspirations as it is associated to the snake god Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent. Like Cacao, both are considered precious heavenly gifts from the sky gods. These divine apparitions today are asking you to deeply tune into the cosmic heart. Let it move you. Open yourself to receive the holy gifts provided and listen carefully to the light language pouring through them. You are elevating your frequency of limitless supply rooted in unconditional love. Step out of your own way and surrender to divine love. So sort of like you're initiating into just like a higher sense of consciousness is what I'm getting here. So other keywords: initiation, spiritual test, revelation, access to the cosmic heart, divine love, light being, channeling languages of light. Yeah, so I think what's coming through here is you are leveling up. Your vibration is leveling up. Your sense of like what you are conscious of and your consciousness are leveling up. Like you are initiating into a higher level of being, which is I don't know, pretty big message to come through, to be honest. That doesn't happen every day, sometimes once in a lifetime, right? So, and then we've got the ruling planets of Cacao are Uranus and Venus. Beautiful. So something, yeah, it's like taking the heart. You know, Uranus is the higher, actually it's the higher frequency of Mercury, but in this context, I do want to say it's like Venus being that planet of love, starting to vibrate at a higher level, at a more humane, more collective level. Yeah, so your heart, the consciousness of your heart, which is where I actually think our consciousness is expanding. It's seeing a little bit, things like a little bit more collectively than personally. And so it just like, it really gives you bigger roles in life. It makes you much more aware of like kind of the causal and archetypal levels, as well as divine levels of things. And don't be surprised, this isn't from your goddess yet because we haven't picked her, but like something that I have noticed, as I feel like I've been through this thing, is your resonance changes, and that means sometimes the connections that are already established in your life have to go through some difficult transitions too. Like, I don't believe in always having to like cut people off, but I do think when we kind of level up, like our boundaries around certain things have to shift. And sometimes there are things you have to cut out, but I don't always think that's necessary. But I do feel like it can be quite a process too. And so like have some patience if you find like relationships shifting. And you don't have to have like judgments about that. It's not something to start judging others or judging yourself about, but it's just like relationships shift, and it's because different boundaries are needing to be found. Yeah. Okay, so let's see what Goddess is bringing this message forward, which will also give us a little extra context of like, you know, who that Goddess is, and so like what it is about them that's bringing this forward. Sedna, infinite supply. You are supplied for today and all of your tomorrows. Okay, I'm going to put her, since we're speaking in her voice, at the top here. And I know in this deck's association with Sedna, it's a deep thing about really, really understanding in a beautiful, deep way how exchange happens. Really understanding what it means to give and really understanding what it means to receive. And through that, connecting that giving and receiving to the ease of like how we breathe in and out, and really getting so practiced and deeply aligned with what each of those things actually means on like a vibrational and spiritual level, that it starts to become easy and it starts to make life a lot more flourishing. Yeah. Okay, so we are going to pick a moon card to get a little more context about if there's any kind of like connection to like a zodiacal energy or a certain phase of something coming through here. So full moon in Cancer, a personal issue reaches resolution. Okay. So, I love the full moon quality here. To me, and like I'm liking all these blues and purples going on here. It's like a really deep, soulful quality, and I do relate Cancer very deeply with our soulfulness, with our intuition, with our depth, with our just ability to feel life as being rich and fulfilling. And and this, what's coming through here is like really stripping down the trappings of outside influence, outside world, of culture, of anything external to self, and like really being able to strip that away and deeply, deeply trust that inner alignment and that inner knowing and that intuitive sense of what you need from life and what life is supposed to be about for you, and what specifically to you makes life rich and fruitful and stable and fulfilling. And not needing, so it's like you're really graduating into understanding life from that soulful place of what it is to be fully in aligned with yourself, and only needing that approval from within. And something about that then helps you to see more collectively what is vibrating on soul levels and what is vibrating on more superficial levels. So really connecting into with that cacao message, really connecting into, on a collective sense, a much bigger, like an initiation into really deeply understanding what in our world is soulful, what in our world really values what's underneath, really values what's within, and kind of stepping out of those external trappings. And through that, just like life starting to exchange with you in a much better way, at a much better rate, at a much better frequency, and really understanding how to give and receive through that soul alignment, through that inner compass. So yeah, I mean, really beautiful message coming through. Okay, we're gonna pull a couple cards from the Wild Unknown Archetype deck, which I actually love in this reading because I am feeling that thing of like you really stepping into this ability to start seeing things more archetypally than like in any surface way, in any reactive way, like really being able to see why certain things happen in the world, what certain behaviors and certain people are about, or why certain groups have certain energies. It's like it's so much less personal to you anymore, and you kind of see that archetypal overlay, which helps you have insight into the kinds of stories that are playing out and journeys that are playing out for people and groups and times, and you know, whatever it is, cultures. And it's just like a much more conscious and heart-centered way of being able to see life and see events in life. Thanatos, which I'm actually gonna make sure that I'm not interpreting what that, I think it's death, but and the self. I want to say there's like an ego death going on for you guys right now, but let me look up Thanatos. I think it's death. Yeah. And I'm just going to read the one line I'm looking at here because I haven't read from this book for this reading before, but I did read this line and it feels very relevant for what I was already feeling like some sort of ego death. It says, facing death leads us to Althea truth. So I think, yeah, like you're going through some ego deaths right now, and Sedna really wants to help you with that and help you to see how it's going to bring a much better flow, a much healthier exchange of energy in your life. And for some of you, it may be worth looking into the Inanna myth. And the underworld, which is where I believe you connect to soul, is in the underworld, and it talks about her journey. She's a goddess from Sumner, which was like the first highly high functioning civilization. And she was like the heavenly goddess, but for them, they kind of lived among the people. And so she was like a queen of heaven there. And her sister was a queen of the underworld, or married the king of the underworld. I can't remember. But her husband died. And so Inanna wants to go down and attend the funeral rites in the underworld. But you don't just you can't just go into the underworld and then leave. That doesn't happen. But she goes down, and her sister is furious that she's come, and so tells the guardian of the gates of the underworld that she has to strip her regalia, her like royal wardrobes and jewels and whatnot. At each gate she has to strip them, and there's 7 gates, and they align to the chakras, so by the time she gets to the underworld, she's stripped naked. And it doesn't end there. The fury of her sister, she allows the judges of the underworld to make a judgment that she should die, and so Inanna's killed and she's hung on a hook. But before Inanna went to the underworld, she had her assistant, or her like handmaid, whatever it would be in summer. It's like her handmaid type person, that if she wasn't back at a certain time, that she's in trouble and she should seek help. So her assistant, she doesn't come back, and her assistant seeks help with Inanna's father, who then sends two shape-shifting beings down to the underworld in the form of flies so that they can kind of get through. And they find the sister in labor pains and alone, and so they sit with her and hold space with her, and she's very grateful to them, so she grants them their wish, which is to take Inanna's body back. But they had brought nectar of life and fed it to Inanna's body, and they revived her. And so the sister was like, well, you can't just leave alive. There has to be some sort of change here. And so Inanna decides to, when she gets back to the regular world, she finds most people in mourning for her because she's presumed dead. Sorry, this is taking up a lot of time, but I do think it's important story and relevant to what you may be going through. That most people are in mourning, presuming she's dead, except for her lover, who is already maybe like courting people and living the lap of luxury. So she decides he is who needs to be replaced in the underworld. He will take her place. She was supposed to find a replacement. And his sister grieves this, and so offers to go for half of the year. And so her lover and the lover's sister alternate 6 months a year in the underworld. And it turns out that in another myth, you find out that Inanna was the person responsible for the death of her sister's husband, because she was a very kind of vapid, self-absorbed, superficial queen, just concerned with her own desires and her appearance and this and that. And so this stripping at each of the gates is taking away all of these superficial things, and she kind of finds her soul in this underworld death and revival, and she's a very different person when she comes out. And it's said that the sister is actually her shadow, and she integrates her shadow. So long story to tell you that this is what I feel like is going on for you guys. And I'm not saying that you are shallow people, but we all go through levels of stripping those external things and having sort of ego deaths, and really coming into understanding what's actually important to our soul, and incorporating and seeing our shadows, and coming out the other side as being much more mature and able to move life through you rather than reacting to life. And I feel like this is what Sedna is here and talking to you about, is like you are leveling up in connecting to your heart and connecting to your soul, and coming into an exchange with life that's based on that inner compass and that maturity of knowing how to direct life and move life through you and exchange with life in that way, rather than always feeling like you're responding to life because you don't know how to move life through you, because you really need your heart and soul for that. So you're coming into this much, and I think we go through this process, all of us in life, many times. And so you're just going a level deeper with this, a level deeper into understanding shadow, understanding your ego, understanding external influence, and areas where maybe you have been more shallow than you had recognized. We all have those areas within us. yeah, so a huge leveling up in some way, in some new capacity of having seen some shadows and integrated them, and really coming into a new sense of maturity and a new, yeah, just like leveling up of understanding how to see life through heart and soul, and that inner guide, that inner compass, and a much more mature approach. And it's just like, you know, Sedna saying that life is going to exchange with you because of this on a much more beautiful level. Okay, we're going to pull a few tarot cards to get a little more context. We've got Messenger of Freedom, 10 of Freedom, Initiate of Freedom. Wow, a lot of freedom cards, which in traditional, that's swords. But I like the freedom association. And Radical, which is devil. Yeah, okay. Very interesting. And look at all these black colors. Total shadow integration here. This is absolutely, and the 10 of Swords to me is exactly that threshold of, I've always considered this card that threshold of entering that underworld, where you start to, you know, you've finally hit your head against the wall so many times that you finally kind of wake up and like, oh, that's why I keep hitting my head against the wall. It's like, you can no longer go forward with these types of external things and these mental trappings, and like you really have to kind of see the way your mind has sort of tricked you into certain behaviors or functionality or, you know, whatever. So there's something you've hit the wall with and you're waking up to. You're really seeing the shadow here. And that messenger is just, yeah, it's like Sedna, I really feel like is like really helping to bring messages to you, like really be aware of information, messages, like the right things, the right messages, the right information is coming your way that's helping you to see this finally. See that thing you've kept hitting your head against the wall with. And then out the other side, the initiate, which we had here, initiate. It's like your mind freeing itself of certain trapping it's held. This is really shedding some mental constructs, some things that have maybe really been hard with your mental health, or just things you've mentally struggled with, certain fears or anxieties or comparisons or being influenced or certain ways of thinking. You're really seeing the shadows. You're really going to be presented with the right messages, the right information to you know, so be open and aware to this. There's a lot of messages around you about seeing for, you know, because it's going to be different for each of you, but seeing for you what those mental trappings have been and where you have been hitting your head against a wall over and over and over, and like finally getting it, finally seeing that shadow and rising up, incorporating that shadow and overcoming, transcending it, transmuting it, and sort of re-emerging with like a new maturity and new like, aha, got it, know how to overcome this. And this Radical is actually the devil card, and it's like releasing that, you know, this is the being hung on the hook, stripped naked in the underworld, and finally kind of like letting go of certain attachments, certain ways of needing to be seen or comparing yourself in certain ways or needing certain things in order to feel a certain way, or to uphold certain expectations that are external to what actually is good for you. Whatever it means to you, there's something you're being released from through this process that's really kept you kind of chained down, hemmed down, kept down. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, let's get a couple of confirmation cards as well. Whoops. Son of Swords. Look at all the swords energy. This is the exact same card. The Son of Swords, the Messenger of Freedom. This to me is like a very specific message is coming to you. This now like helps give context that there is a very specific message coming to you that's really wise, and this feels like it's coming quickly and very directly. So for some of you, maybe that's happened already and you're like, yeah, okay, yeah, I know that. And for some of you, it's coming in just like really swiftly within days of this reading, I would imagine. But from someone or something or some energy that is very wise and connects deeply with your own intuitive understanding of life. The exact right message from something wise that pierces straight through your own intuition. Father of Swords. Again, with the swords, you guys. This is all mental energy. You're really breaking through some mental trapping that's I think you've struggled with for a long time, and you're really starting to see what that is, where it comes from, what it is, what the shadow has produced. And this is saying that like you're going to get this in such a deep way that you will immediately master how to overcome this. Like you're gonna get it hard, not in a hard way necessarily, but like it's really, you know how some messages it takes a while for you to really kind of let it congeal with you and sink in, and you have to make a few mistakes again for it to like, okay, I got it. And this is like, no, this one's you've already been through enough, you've already been through that process, and when this message pierces you and lands, like you're gonna get it masterfully immediately. It's like which makes me, sometimes for us to get it that strongly, that quickly, it comes through challenges that are, that are pretty immense. So just know that if something takes place that's hard but makes you see this hardcore, that you are going to overcome this, and that it sinks in so masterfully to you that this will never happen again, whatever makes you see this. High Priestess, yeah, you're stepping into your intuition with this. You're really getting it on that soul level. You're really wising up. You're really maturing. You're really, again, just like leveling up, initiating into your High Priestess status. Knowing how to even know what your inner knowing is. Sometimes we don't even know how to know that. And it's like, this is really sinking in for you. You're really getting it of like, oh, this is my inner wisdom. This is my soul. This is my intuition. This is how this works for me. Got it. Really stepping into that. And the Star, New Hope. Yeah, I love seeing this as the ending tarot card. New hope coming through, new day, new vibration, just gorgeous. Beautiful card to end on, of like, whatever challenges this has brought into your life, you're done with it, and you're seeing like new horizons, new potentials, new way of functioning and exchanging with life. And Sedna's really, she's doing a big job here. Like she's she's helping you to get this with, you know, thinking about like getting it on the level of a fish or a dolphin or a whale. Like you're getting it at the level and depth of a whale versus the level and depth of a fish that's more close to the surface. You're getting this all the way down to your underworld. Okay, to end this reading, we're going to call in another goddess, a specific goddess, Kuan Yin, to get a kind of blessing message from her. And she's sort of a goddess of compassion. The dance of unveiling. And I'm also going to read from the guidebook for this, from just the kind of overall message, not the whole, you know, it's several pages, so I'm just reading the general message. There is a situation in your life that is about to reveal itself to you with greater clarity. Yeah, it does feel very something specific going on here. Just like sands shifting, the picture will seem clearer and quite different to how it once appeared to you. And this is hitting the wall. It's like you've been hitting your head against the wall with the same thing over and over, and it's like suddenly like something's happening where you're just like, oh, I get this with the whole possible clarity you could have to get this. This clarity will bring you great relief and confirmation of your intuition. Yeah, that confirmation of intuition is that vibration, that raising and initiation into just like really trusting, understanding, building relationship and exchange with your intuition. It says, be patient and allow the revelation to come to you at the perfect time. And I do feel like that is what's happening here. Like a really specific revelation is coming, a really specific message, information, revelation, event, whatever it is. So, I mean, a really powerful message. You know, so far, all three of these readings have been just like, holy smokes, powerful. So, you know, and no different for you guys. This is big stuff. So, yeah, good luck with it. Congratulations on, you know, no matter what happens, whether it's difficult or not to come into this, congratulations though on reaching that new vibration. Really starting to see with a different vibration and see like a new quality of self, a new star rising about yourself through just like connecting to yourself on a much more intuitive, deep, heart, soulful level, and just like so much hope for the future on the other side of this, and clarity about something that I think has probably been a long struggle. So, all right, this is where I'm going to leave you guys. If this resonated, I always appreciate the things. Thumbs up, kind and thoughtful comments, and definitely subscriptions if you are not yet. All right, see you guys. Hello, Pile 4. Welcome to your reading, which is a message from Goddess. So I did look up your stone before coming into your reading to be sure, and it is a Polychrome Jasper. I knew it was some sort of Jasper. Okay, so you guys chose the pile with the Mucuna card, and this is the card we're going to start with. This is going to be showing us sort of the theme and the message that your goddess wants to talk to you about, bring you a message about, and after we get into this, we'll pick which goddess it is that is bringing this message. Okay, so I'm going to read from the book for this. It's the Herbal Astrology Oracle, and I'm just going to be reading sort of the guidance message, not the whole shebang of it's you know, a couple pages long, so I'm just reading the guidance part to kind of get what this general theme is, what the message is in relation to. So it says, and the keyword under your card says journey. Okay. You may be in a state of transition, about to leave familiar territory and initiate a new journey. Something in your gut is telling you it's time for a shift, to enter a new physical space and or field of awareness. The powers of both Mercury and Uranus oftentimes appears as spontaneous opportunities out of the blue. This is the power of the higher mind magnetizing opportunities that match your spirit's frequency. Don't resist the journey in the name of comfort. The overwhelming rush of emotions that rise before big opportunities is signaling opportunities for growth. While the waters might seem turbulent at times, the sea of opportunities ahead will be tranquil. Let go of whatever is holding you back, be it from the past or present, and hold your gaze steadily into your future. So some other keywords: state of transition, leaving behind what is familiar, moving toward the unknown, connection to a higher mind, trusting higher consciousness. This is really interesting. I feel like, which reading was it? Maybe pile 2. I believe it was pile 2. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It was talking about this whole thing of like entering into a higher consciousness, and I feel like that may be interesting to you, but I feel like this is sort of an evolution of that. Like, you've kind of maybe been through that journey of raising your consciousness, and you're like in that firmly now, and because of that, it's like you're attracting sort of a new realm of being, like a new environment, a new types of things into your life that yeah, may kind of feel sort of shocking, but it's just like your environment is needing to update to now match, or certain things in your life are needing to now update to kind of match the way you're vibrating, because you've shifted sort of your level of consciousness. And and I love seeing sort of this eye and the lightning here, so I feel like it's gonna be kind of a wild ride is what I'm feeling like, but like exciting at the same time. And then I love this rainbow, sort of like, it's like, I don't know, I think it could be sort of a shake-up at first, a little jarring at first, but like it's leading you to that more beautiful shores, a better pot of gold type of thing. Just more beauty. So let's see which goddess is bringing you this message, which may give us even more context in terms of what it is that you raised your consciousness around. And so what is shifting, what in your environment is shifting because of that. Sulis, bodies of water. Spend time near water, such as a lake, river, or the ocean, to recharge your batteries. This doesn't bring me more context around what the shakeup is, but it does bring some context around, the voice of this goddess and sort of why she's here is like, I think the goddess energy currently around you is trying to bring some blessings and some guidance to you around spaciousness and around sort of downtime and I think that when this shift or shakeup comes, is going to be like game on, and it's going to require some nervous energy kind of activated. It's going to require action. It's going to require movement and shift and change. And I think you're sort of in between phases. Like you've done those shifts, those vibrational shifts within you. And I think that's been a big process. And I think you're now probably worn out because it's like you've rewired. And so now you need to sort of recharge, because very soon your environment is not like resonating at the same vibration that you now are, because your environment was drawn in based on your old wiring and your old vibration. And so that new vibration that you've rewired with and taken, been on a whole journey in that way, that's a process. That's a lot of work. That's a lot to go through, even like physically, emotionally, mentally, all our layers of different bodies that we hold, spiritually, even archetypally. You may have even, I don't know why that came through. Like, I feel like I do know why that's sort of, I'm primed with it, because that's been a theme here. I'm using a deck with some archetypes, and that also came up in a bigger way in another reading, but it does feel relevant here. It feels right here. Like, I think the rewiring you've done has changed you archetypally in some ways, or you're using different archetypes within you because of that, or certain archetypes you've had have leveled up, whatever. Something archetypally is shifted for you because of kind of raising your vibration and going through some big internal rewiring and shifts. Yeah, so again, not to repeat myself, but I am, is downtime, recharge. This has been a really big process, and very soon the environment you are in is shifting to update and match that internal shift. So, take a beat. This is saying, like, Sulis, I think, is coming through to say, like, I want to give you some regenerative space and time. I want you to really let this wiring set in, really get used to it, and recharge everything so that it can run properly, and that you can be ready when this external world shakeup is about to come in. Okay, let's look at... I'm going to pick a moon card to see a little bit of context, something around connecting this to some sort of like phase of life and energy of life. This one. Okay, so full moon in Aquarius. Show the world the real you. And if there's any sign in the zodiac that I would say kind of shakes up your vibration, raises your awareness, your consciousness, and your vibration in a big sort of shift, electrical lightning strike way, it is Aquarius. And I feel like whatever has happened, whatever rewiring has taken place and raise in vibration has taken place, it is also something that has been helping to free you to be more true to your original beat, your original wiring, your original sense of self, without any sort of overlays on it or needing to fit in a certain way or mold yourself after anything specific or go after the normalized things in life. It's like yeah, whatever rewiring has taken place and whatever raising in vibration and consciousness has taken place, it's freeing you to be, yeah, who you deeply are, and deeply and uniquely are. And there's something just like really blossoming, really coming into fullness about this. It's so, so gorgeous to see. Yeah, this, I mean, all of this electrical energy here, it just feels, yeah, it's a lot of shifts. That's a lot of shifts, and it's so exciting, but you have to regenerate. That kind of shock, that kind of excitement, can also just really zap your energy. So yeah, Sulis is like, take care of yourself, because this is, we're not done with this electrical circuitry kind of shifting and changing and shocking. And yeah, so okay, we're gonna pick a couple of archetype cards from the Wild Unknown, the Castle, and the Father. Okay. Yeah, I mean, in the context of this rewiring, this shakeup, this shedding certain layers to kind of vibrate as who you are, I think whatever world or culture you have sort of either grown up in or found yourself currently in or recently in, had just like a lot of confining normalization of what's acceptable, what you should do, just expectations, pressures, needing to kind of conform and get in line, get yourself in line and toe the line. And yeah, I'm just feeling so much that you're breaking free of certain influences over you that have been somewhat confining or strict or judgmental, or just like really wanting you to be a certain way, or having expectations of how people are supposed to be, which kind of is restrictive of having any sort of offbeatness or unique beatness or personal beat. Yeah, and there's just something here where you're just like, you know, really stepping out of this, really not just kind of shattering the walls of it or like leaving the walls of it, but just like rising up, just totally on it, like just being on a completely different plane all of a sudden, and seeing like beyond where you've been hemmed in or held back, just like this new, I don't know, it's just like this new freedom of like just so expansive. I'm just feeling this massive expansive freedom coming through, really unleashing yourself and leaving all of these confines and constructs and norms and judgments and expectations and whatever it is. It's like there's just no hold, there's nothing, there's no hold there anymore. And it doesn't mean that you're like leaving it completely. Like, I just feel like you're above it now. Like you can see down, and instead of feeling like being outside of it, but still feeling some ties that are a little bit, even if you're outside of the wall, there's still those like ties and connections that can kind of still hold you back from going too far outside the wall. It's like you're just above it looking down and like, oh, I feel bad for all those people down there. Like you don't care if you're judged down there because you just like, it's like you feel bad for anyone still trapped in sort of this, in certain confinements. And it's like, it just doesn't affect you what's thought down here. You can still love things down here and have care and empathy and trust and relationship down here, but it's like, it doesn't affect you anymore in terms of you being you, because you're just seeing it from such an elevated place that you're like, oh, those sweethearts that don't know how to be free or don't even realize that they're not free, or, you know, like whatever that is to you. Yeah, so it's just like, I mean, massive freedom coming through. I just feel such like a weight lifted and just such a fresh air feeling. It's gorgeous. It's really profound. But yeah, there is something coming really quickly and really soon about now that you're up here and able to see and feel just like no strings pulling you back. It's like, it's just time to sit in this, recharge in it, embrace it, be it. But with like some, you know, take some breaths and just like get used to like being in that real you energy, unconfined, and rest in it, you know, because really soon this environment, even if you still have like relationships or associations, it's just like really going to kind of fall away, and there's other environments that are going to come in. I actually kind of want to pick cards for that. Let's do that before we do tarot. What's this new environment? What is the new environment coming in for you guys? Or at least, you know, what can we know about that? I don't think we're supposed to know much yet, the empty room. I'm gonna do one more. Oops. And the healer. Yeah, I mean, I don't think we're supposed to know. And that maybe it's because it's going to be so different for each of you. That it would be hard to, but it's sort of like blank slate, and you're very, very healed, you know, like space has been made. Blank space has been made. You've really done some purging and cleaning out those closets, and so much healing, so much detoxing, detaching, purging, whatever it is. You've done a lot of personal healing, and it's created this ability to kind of have a blank slate of what will come in to replace what you've kind of detached from. So yeah, that'll be different for everyone. Okay, we are going to do a few tarot to get more context though. Seven of Courage. Creator of Courage. Other. And Star. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. And I'm loving the colors of these cards that came out. yeah, I mean, you are just like really stepping into your own. You're stepping into your beat. You are seeing any kind of outside infringement upon you for what it is, as sort of like false threats or potentially even like jealousy, in the sense of, you know, people really concerned with like what you're doing, but being at that elevated position, you can see that it's not even about what they think it is about. Like they may think that you're like kind of getting after you for not playing and doing life in the way that you have been, and so they're just sort of like not quite scolding, but it's just like some weird attention. I just feel like some weird attention right now. But because you've elevated, you can see that that weird attention is so much more about others maybe not being able to quite understand why they're so interested in what you're doing and sort of weird about it, and reactive about it. And you can see that it's because they're reacting to their own, constrictions, to work they haven't done in themselves. And it's like you can see it for what it is. So it's like you're really above whatever kind of strange attention you may be getting right now. It's like it doesn't affect you because you can see it for what it is. And it's, again, just like this thing of almost not pity, but like feeling a little bad, like, oh, I know what they need to do. I know what others need to do to like move on, or like not be so concerned with me, and it makes me feel sad for them a little bit. So in that sense, I'm not offended or affected by what it is they're focused on about me. And it may not even be that like a lot of people are fixated and looking and focused on you. It's just like the people around you in general aren't resonating, again, like we talked about, like they're not resonating with you anymore in the same way, at least. And so there's just like some weird transitions happening. And it's like you understand what's going on, but not, they don't exactly. And you're just stepping into like a really mature way of holding that, and a mature way of seeing it for what it is. And so in not letting it affect you, and like truly not being affected by it, like really being able to newly understand and command the power you're now kind of wielding over yourself and as yourself, and really starting to feel that, like stepping into just this new really strength and maturity and confidence, and but care. It's like you're not leaving things behind in a way of like, I'm better than you now, or like this relationship is shifting because you're still down here and I'm up here. It's like it's not the way you're seeing it. You really still have like this really nurturing, beautiful side to you that's like, I wish I could show people how to do this, but understanding that they have to do it for themselves. So just like a new kind of patience and empathy kind of settling in. And it's just this strength that is just really congealing within you. And it's like people don't really understand what's happened. It's like you've totally shifted. And it's, yeah, I think that people are reacting to it. Not everyone in a bad way. It's just, there's just reactions, you know, and some of those may be more difficult than others, but yeah, I do think people are reacting to your shift in vibration, your up level in vibration. And yeah, I just see you dealing with it in like such a compassionate, wise, strong, powerful way. And it's shifting the whole environment around you is going to, yeah, magically, I feel you as like this rock in this room, and everything's kind of configuring around you, but you're staying stable and the same. And it's almost like everything is falling away and then rebuilding itself in a totally different way around you. And that does mean, I think, relationships, like some are really going to decompose in a certain way and then reconfigure in a certain way. And it's just like, you're just like so patient and stable about it. Like you get why it's happening, and you're just like really, really stable in that, and really patient about that, and really caring about that. Yeah, and then I just see, I know what in the traditional tarot this is supposed to be, and I'm not going to read it as that traditional card because I love the image that's came through that's on this card in relation to what we've talked about. It's like you're congealing, you've rewired in this really new, beautiful way. And I feel like this is sort of your environment. This is what it was reflecting. Like this is how you used to look. This is how your energy field used to look. And now it's sort of recongealed and rewired, and it's just like so beautiful. And so this environment that really matched and mirrored your old energy is starting to kind of deconstruct here. And we already see the under foundation is starting to match. That yellow is starting to kind of, in the very foundations, find its pigment and its scent, but the overlays are still kind of dissolving and starting to decompose in order to reconfigure. So it's like, I think that's where the process is right now. It's like you are standing in your beautiful, beautiful vibration. That's a massive and gorgeous upgrade because you've done so much healing work. And but that environment has to match, and in order to match, it has to decompose, and it's just a process. But I just see you being like, yeah, I get it. And this is a process. It's not easy, but I'm also really strong and stable because I know that soon that mirror is going to come in to reflect how I feel in my center, in my core, in my sense of self. And I think it's just like a lot of really strong, stable hope for the future, and like an inner knowing, like my future is really shifting here. I don't totally know what that's going to mean and how that's going to look, but I know it's going to be beautiful because I feel the beauty within me now in a way that I never have. And I'm just excited. Whatever form that takes, I'm excited, and I feel it, and I know it's coming. And that's what I feel there. It's really gorgeous, you guys. Okay, let's get some confirmation cards over these real quick. Whoops. Mother of Wands. Yeah, it's just like you're really stepping into this knowing of how to both nurture and care and respect yourself, but also like be gentle with other things and people at the same time as like really incubating and caring for the new creation coming. It's just like you're holding life so beautifully and so tenderly right now. And then 5 of Cups, yeah, definitely kind of walking away from some old things kind of turning into ghosts a bit, and just knowing that it just takes time to let those sort of dissolve as they need to. Yeah. And then 9 of Pentacles, yeah, just stepping into your sovereignty of really knowing who you are, what you want, how to get it. And it's just like a lot of self-love, just deep self-love coming through here. And so knowing you deserve what you want, knowing you are deserving in general in life, just like really, yeah, just new level of self-love starting to kind of congeal around you to match how that's congealing within you. And then Father of Cups, yeah, just that trust in the future that's coming out of this really masterful, stable way of holding emotion, holding imagination, holding compassion, just strong and like it's just so stable within you. I feel this rock, like you just know what and who you are, and are just raising above all the bullshit you used to be kind of weighted down in. And you're just like, yeah, it's beautiful. You're just like really rising up to your potential and really sure of who you are and what you want. And yeah, it's really, really great energy. Okay, so this last card we're going to do, we're going to call in another goddess, but a specific one. We're calling in Kuan Yin, which is the goddess of compassion, and just getting a kind of like blessing and beautiful message from her to leave off on. I'm feeling this one. Veil of Shadows. Okay, and I'm going to read from the book on this as well, but just, again, just sort of like the guidance part or the message part. Okay. Okay, a lotus blossoms with deep, rich mud into which she plunges her roots and draws great nourishment. From this mud, made of water and earth, growth happens and great beauty is revealed. Your soul lotus thrives through the depth of emotion and aliveness of your body, into which she can plant herself and unfold as a lotus of light. Yeah, and like what I just said, like I think you've been through the mud. I think you've been through that, you know, because the lotus goes down into the muddy waters, and then it sort of like needs that to go, its blossom itself needs to go down into those muds to nourish itself. And then when it comes up and blooms out on top of the surface of the water, it's sort of like it's come up from going through that mud, but something about that is very nourishing and enriching. And I think, you know, that's where you've been down. And I think I said at some point in this, it's like, you've come from being down in the bullshit, you know, and it's something like you've needed to go through that. You've needed to be kind of in muddy waters, in some complexity, in some obscurity, some, yeah, just into the muck of life to really find your maturity, to understand what it is that nourishes you. And yeah, there's something about having to have like experienced challenges and something that kind of feels like quicksand to get through, and something that doesn't feel so comfortable. It's like you've had to go through that in order to kind of connect to what it is, you know, like really know the importance and the value of what it is that nourishes you, because you've been through the shit. You know that much more deeply what it feels like to be in your energy and clearness, and what it is that nourishes that and makes you want to blossom, and the conditions that help you blossom. And like, it's just like you're getting it, you're coming out from that muck, but you had to go through that. Yeah, that's what I'm sensing. So wow, I mean, all of these were such, I mean, I don't know the last time I did a reading where I felt like they were such big messages that came through. But yeah, every single one of these readings is like really profound messages coming through from Goddess. So yeah, I mean, back to the root of what your Goddess message was, is like, it's time to recharge. It's time to take care of yourself, because just as you've done so much deep inner work and healing, that outer environment is ready to shift to mirror that. And it's going to happen like shockingly and quickly, and with a lot of energy and explosive excitement needed. So it's like, yeah, take care of yourself right now, recharge, because it's going to be a little bit of a shakeup, but in an exciting way, I think. Okay, this is where I'm going to leave you guys. I hope this resonated. If so, I always appreciate the things, the thumbs up. I'm always grateful for kind and thoughtful comments, and definitely if you are not yet subscribed, I would love it if you would do so, and I will see you in future readings.